what's going on out there, everybody? Welcome to Perspectives with Solomon and Breigh. I'm Solomon.
And I'm Breigh.
Thank you guys for having us. Last week we spoke with you guys and we kind of introduced ourselves and talked about how we even got to this thing that we're doing now. And in the midst of us in the downtime, I started really thinking about some things that's important to us as creatives. And one of the things that I was talking with Breigh about offline was, this feeling that I've been feeling lately about having a 9 to 5. Like, is my 9 to 5 taken away from my creative grind? And do you have to have a 9 to 5 to grind, or should you just grind without the 9 to 5? And it
Real.
just made me think. And we were talking about it before it started. We started talking about Kanye's spaceship because
Love Spaceship. That
yes,
every part of that song, every lyric was so relatable. Like every job that I had that I did not want to do, I thought of Spaceship.
that's it. That's it. And I think it's like the perfect song that talks about that grind of I'm working a job I don't like.
Mm-hmm.
For me, my first job that I really did not like, well, my first, but
Yeah.
I won't even say my first. I'll say the job I remember the most that I did not like. I was working at Aldi's,
Mm.
and that let me know.
Really?
Yes,
They just went viral on Twitter talking about how they can sit down and everything's easier, all these and they're ahead of time. And you have a different perspective. Look at that.
you know what? It's just when it's not what you really want to do, nothing
True.
is really good. You know what I'm saying?
Very
And
true.
I had my Kanye spaceship moment where I was like, if the manager insult me again, I'm gonna assault him, like for
Yes.
real.
And it's also like when he says, "Buy me a spaceship and fly past the sky." I can't tell you how many times I just wanted to escape. Like I remember having a job. I don't want to give too many details because someone might hear him know, but I had a job that was centered around like fashion, and it was so bad. I would find myself sitting in my car, like at the very last minute, I had to clock in. There were some days where I was just like I couldn't breathe.
Mm.
Like literally couldn't breathe in my car, but I know I had to go in and put on this face and mask that I wanted to be there. Oh,
I think
woo!
I think everybody has to have at least one experience like that. If you're listening and you're in your 20s or you're in your teens, you got
Yes,
to have at least one experience like this. And if
yes,
you're in our age range and
yeah.
30 and up, you had a couple, at least
You had
one to a
it's
couple.
a lot for me, absolutely, and it's so crazy because had I looked at it like, oh, this is just temporary, I don't think I would have been as so like, I don't want to be here. And even some of my other jobs, I treated it like a training ground. Like if you treat it like that and look at that, you won't be there long. Like learn all the things you can learn. Like I was working at this warehouse, and even though I didn't want to be in a warehouse, it was like, okay, I can learn about how to ship things. I can learn about Microsoft Excel. I can learn about Microsoft Word. Like there's always something to learn at a job that you don't want to be at. So that's
And
like the positive thing I could think of when you're there and you're like, I do not want to be here.
and see, that's a point that I think is left out. You can learn a lot from jobs that you don't per
Yes,
se
on their
like.
dime.
Exactly on their dime, and it's all about that perspective. I see how you was
Yeah,
getting it then. You was like on that
yeah,
dime. I see how y'all see how Bree was over
absolutely.
there getting
I
it.
was there's like somebody want to learn something. I was like, yeah, I don't know it. I'll learn. That's how you. That's also how you get promoted to people. Do
Facts.
something people don't want to do. Learn.
No, that's
Absolutely.
real. That's real. And I mean, I think the big thing that I kind of want to hit on tying into that is like that feeling of not wanting to do something and that there's a dream
Mhm.
that you really have and this isn't
Yeah.
it. And you're stuck between,
Yeah.
is this necessary to get me further, or is this distracting me from my goal? Like when I was working in my job at Aldi's, it was to survive.
Oh, survival mode. That's a word.
it,
Survival mode ain't no joke.
it was survival. And I kind of knew what I wanted to do, but I wasn't really going towards it because it's
Hmm.
hard to go towards your dreams when you're just trying to make it, when you're trying to
Absolutely. When
eat
you're trying to
every
make
day.
it, and also when you don't really have a blueprint yourself to do it, you got to figure this out on your own. Yeah, absolutely. It's
and,
very hard.
and see, that doesn't get talked about a lot, what you just said. Like when you're having to figure it out on your own, it's different
Yeah.
when you kind of know what you want and there's a path
Yeah.
laid out. But when you just have like a dream, like my boy Jacob, a
Yeah.
dollar in a dream.
A dollar in a dream. Or you one of the few in your family to really be like, you know what? I'm not going to stay at this for 20 years. I'm going to actually go after something. You're literally stepping on foreign ground that's never been done in your family. So they're
Exactly.
going to look at you like, are you crazy? What are you doing? You don't
And
want to
that's how
stay.
they're gonna look at you.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
I think that's a thing that creatives go through. It's like because
Mhm.
I've heard like different stories. Like I remember Logic, he was talking about how when the year or two before he blew up, he was living off his homeboy's couch. He was sleeping on his homeboy's
Mm.
couch,
Yeah.
and his homeboy's like, "You got 1 year. I'm gonna give you 1 year on
Wow.
this couch, and if you can, after that, you're gonna have to do it yourself and find it a way." But he blew up at the end of that year. But
Wow.
he was just talking about sleeping on his homie's couch. He was
That's some
working at
serious
like
faith.
Kinko. Yeah, man. And he was working at like Kinko's, I think, and he may have quit at one point, but he was doing open mics,
Wow. Yeah.
recording, and promoting. And I think the thing about it is like people talk a lot about like, yo, man, you got to go out there and chase your dreams, but it's like,
Yeah.
how do you do that with no funds?
No funds, and a lot of them don't talk about how they were also working jobs that they did not want to work. They only talk about when, oh, I didn't got on, or I didn't sign this deal, or I'm on now. You were working jobs too, but you don't find out till later when you're reading an article and you're like, wait, such and such was doing that? I didn't
Mm-hmm.
know.
You
Because it's
know,
not the cool thing to promote, to say that you was working this 9 to 5 that you didn't like. You had to act like, oh, it was grassroots and I was getting up every day and I was making time for my art and I made it out of dirt and here we are. Like, no, if you don't have money, where are you gonna get it from? You
and
know?
see that point you just said, like I listened to like a lot of interviews and try to catch those nuggets.
Same.
They're always working some job.
Yeah.
They're always
Always.
I worked at the airport, or I
Mm-hmm.
did this, or I worked here, and they did some type of odd job. And
Yeah.
sometimes they supplemented it with some, not so
Mm-hmm.
speakable jobs as
Yeah.
well. But they did something, or somebody financed it for them.
So true. Cause I was so like, in my early 20s, I was so like, go after your dreams, quit your job, right? Just not thinking by illusion, I was thinking all the other creatives who were going for their jobs, they either save their money or they just some money just mysteriously fell in their lap. So I thought that's what it was. But till I left a job for my dreams and was like, wait a minute, how am I
Oh,
gonna pay for this?
so bro, you're gonna talk a little bit about
So
that.
I
What
was like,
happened?
oh, I have to get a job to go
So,
after my dreams. Now I see the gig. Yeah.
wait, talk to us
Um,
about that. So you left your job to pursue your dream.
Yeah, again, the LA situation of just like leaving my warehouse job, going to LA, taking applying to media jobs, thinking, which was naive, like thinking, oh, I'm gonna finally find a job and I'm in the capital of where like all freelancers and all, creatives are already competing for positions. But I thought, oh, no one works as hard as me, no one's more ambitious as me, like just on this whole green is what they call it out in LA. You're green. I was really green out there. And so yeah, just humbly having to work at Chipotle, but also thinking like I'm better than this, which I do think I was, but I think I was better because I'm like, oh, I had this degree, da, 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 but I'm not better at the same time because God humbled me. I'm never too good for any job. That's period. It's just me knowing that I can get, I deserve better for myself, if that makes sense.
No, I get that.
Um, but yeah, just that of just like, oh yeah, I'm doing this job, da da da. But then I quit Chipotle and was like, I'm gonna go after my dreams. Guess what? Couple months again, I have to get another job. Like
Man.
it's not no, but I just thought like this whole illusion of like, oh, it'll work out itself. I see other creatives, that comparison thing. I see other creatives figuring out, I'll figure it out, not knowing that they were probably doing Uber on the side, a lot of them doing Postmates on the side. Like it was a lot of side hustles, a lot of, creating soap, sewing stuff, like you name it, they was doing it out there. So it was just like, you know what, this whole illusion about like leave don't work this job, go after your dreams is bullshit
You know what? You said
for
a
me.
lot.
Now that I literally and I only say that because I literally went through that. I literally was the one. I was the epitome of go after your dreams, chase your dreams, don't do the 20 years, guys. Don't worry about the benefits, guys. You'll get it. Go. Did it. And let me tell you, boom, flat on my face. Rock bottom, baby. Rock bottom. Okay. So
Yo,
I know what I'm talking about. So if I had perspective for me, I can have a job and let the job pay for that. Because I also see independent artists do that. They have a job and they fund their artistry from that job. And it's okay. But I get it. You want that story to say like I got it out the mud, I made money, but I'm not going to tell y'all when 9 to 5 I was working cuz it's none of y'all business. But that's the truth. You need a job or you need something to fund it. you know.
You
And
says
I also respect the creatives who figure it out, like, hey, I'm gonna sell some merch, or hey, I'm gonna make something out of nothing, and live and use that as a way to pay for their work. But either way, you got, like you said, you got to find a way to fund it. Everybody don't have rich mommies and daddies or heirs of the throne or Rockefeller money. Like, we don't have that.
nah, that's
Come on.
real. And you said a lot of good things. There's like a lot of points I wanted to add to that. To the point you said about Chipotle, Aldi showed me that I'm not
Yeah.
above any position
Yeah.
because if you got to eat, you got to eat. And
Yeah.
you have to sometimes, like I was in college about to graduate and I was like, man, I don't need this, da 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 da.
Man,
But you do. And
facts.
and if
Yeah.
you can stock shelves and it ain't gonna kill you, you can be
Period.
doing these things and not like how you look, but that may be what was needed for me at that point in time to give me perspective.
Absolutely.
Um,
Absolutely.
but the other thing that you said that I thought about, it was really two things. First, like why, and I'm gonna ask you this because I want us to come back to it. Why is it not cool for creatives to admit that they're getting funding from other people? And then the other thing that I wanted to like kind of make a point on that about was dang, I thought that second point might have been that it. Why is it not cool to just say that you're
I
getting
think it
help
doesn't
from
go
people?
along with their story of quote unquote self-made, which doesn't exist. That's why I think. I
You,
think it doesn't go along with the self-made. It doesn't go along with the story of I did this on my own. It doesn't go along with the chip on the shoulder. Ha ha, I did it without you. Because let's be honest, a lot of people do have the chip on the shoulder story. And that's the other thing too. Like, as a creative, you need to ask yourself your intentions. Why are you doing this? If you're doing this to flex on an ex or a teacher who said you wasn't gonna be ish. Shout out to the professor who did it to me. It ain't worth it, you
it's
know?
not.
Worth the tears and nights and frustrations and considering a whole new path. It ain't worth all that if you're doing it for that, you know?
Yo, let's side note on that. That meme that's been going around. My teacher said I wasn't gonna be nothing. No, we did. Yo, that's real. I know I haven't told no kid that. I might have thought it though. I ain't gonna flex to you.
I had a professor actually tell me I wasn't ready for something, but I'm not gonna give him that shine like that. But the
Me too.
difference for me was when that professor told me I wasn't ready for something, it motivated me to go get my own situation, and I did. So it was like, but
It was the same
everybody
with
don't
me.
have that. My teacher didn't, like, somebody lying.
That's it.
It's too
Everybody.
many teachers. That's way too many teachers.
No, that's real. And to piggyback off that, this is the other thing I was gonna say because you made a good
Hmm.
point. I think about like rappers like Mickey Fax, like these rappers who
Oh
rap
my goodness,
but
you just took
have
me back to
regular
blog
jobs.
era.
Yeah, but I think he's like an accountant or something like that, or he has like a. I think
Really?
he has like a nine to. I think he has like a 9 to 5, but he raps on the side.
Oh, I love that for him.
And
Wow,
I
you
mean,
took
there
me
are other
back to
people.
that.
Yeah, yeah, he came to my mind when you mentioned that. Like,
Wow. I had no
yo,
idea. Yeah.
yeah, I got to look that up and check it up. But I want to say he's an accountant. But I say that just to say, man, it's a lot of artists that do
Mhm.
their art and they get
Yeah.
paid off of it, but they also
Yeah.
have 9 to 5s to supplement it.
True. It also don't go with, we also got to think about this whole image too. Along
Mm,
with the self-made, that image part. Like, wait, you got a 9 to 5 with your artistry? Like, imagine taking paparazzi, which probably doesn't exist anymore, really, photos, and then someone saying, oh, you're an accountant, how is that possible? Because it doesn't go with the illusion of like, oh, you're just this, you got it made. Like, we all trying to figure this shit out. But that makes me think of the question of, like, artists that were on top might have been, quote unquote, it's all about
yeah,
perspective, and then like they're doing 9 to 5 jobs. Like, I wonder what that's like, just like with athletes. I'm sure they have the moment of like when they finally are retiring. It's like, that's a whole new life now for them to be like, okay, what am I doing next? Like,
that makes me think about the dude from the Cosby Show when they were taking him
oh
out
yeah,
because he had like a
yeah.
regular job. It's like you on the
At
Cosby
Trader
Show,
Joe's. Yeah,
yeah.
you're in the Cosby shop. Why are you there? And I'm like, first of all, that was 20 plus years ago. Second of all, actors don't get situations like that. It
No,
all depends. It's so many things take place in that. It takes place if you're signed. Who are you, like, who are your connects? Like, what have you been working on? Like, are you working? Are you still
it's the
working on your craft?
same.
It's so many things to that.
It's
And
the
that
same.
again goes along with that illusion of like, oh, he was on TV, so he's gonna be fine for the rest of his life. It's like, no.
No, I agree. And I was about to say, well, side note, shout out to him because I think
Yeah,
he's on
shout out to
Power.
him.
He's
He
on
did
Power.
get,
He's in an
yeah, he got some
episode.
gigs off of that. So jokes
Um,
on them for
for
shaming
laughing at
him for
him.
having a job.
Oh man, see that's another. I'm gonna go back
Yeah.
to that because that's a good
That
point.
shaming for the job is a whole nother episode. Yeah.
I'm gonna go back to that because that's
Yeah,
a
go
good
ahead.
point.
Go ahead.
But no, I was gonna say, uh, well, I guess we'll start right there because I forgot it. But
I'm
there's a
sorry.
lot of people now that feel that pressure. Like you remember when I'm not gonna say everybody's name, but there was an
Mhm.
entertainer who was doing
Mhm.
Uber, and people were like, "Yo, this man had a number one single, and he's doing
Yeah.
Uber." And he was
Yeah.
like, "Yo, I'm just trying to get extra money." Like,
Mhm.
and he literally, I remember an interview he did. He said, "Man, that year I got put on the Forbes list was the worst thing that could happen to me because he said all of a sudden people thought I had all this money just because of my
Wow. That
reported net
image.
worth."
Yeah.
I'm like, this man got children, other things, so
Mhm.
he can't, just be.
Yeah, mortgage like things cost. Absolutely. That's a good point. I think again it goes along with regular folk like me looking on the outside thinking, "Oh, he got it all made," not knowing he is a human too. He go through stuff too. I'll never forget this man, this production designer told me. He said the only difference between you and other celebrities is they just have money. We all poop
Mm.
the same. We all poop the same. We literally poop the same.
You
Ain't
know,
nothing different.
side note on that poop the same. I really did not, as a kid, thought that beautiful girls pooped. I know that's
Oh, that's
real
a whole,
random.
yeah, that's my question too. That's a whole, I we need to have an episode about questions for men because I do have questions for men
I'm
because
not gonna lie to you. Like somebody was like, "Man, Beyonce poops." I was like, "No, she don't." It was like, "So
she
what does she do?" I'm
does.
like, "She doesn't poop, man. She's too cute to
And
poop."
it
Like,
probably stank too
it,
because we're human. So that's the whole thing too. Like, yeah,
yo,
that's
but
a
you
whole
don't think
episode.
about that. Yeah, that's an episode.
I even think about like
Man.
farting too. I'm like, I just can't imagine being with a man and farting next to him. Like, I'm just that's like a fear for me. Like, oh
That
my
is a
god, if I
real fear
fart
for
next
y'all,
to
ain't
a
it?
man, I probably have to marry him. Like, if he smell my fart, like like
Yo, you know what's
that
funny?
that's
Right,
scary.
right when you said that, I was looking at a meme my cousin I put, and it was like, when she farts in front of you, you start reevaluating your future. But
It's just like scary because it's like, oh, the whole cuteness out
cat's
the
out the
window
bag
now.
now.
We're not
Cat's
even
out
gonna
the.
talk about the mother visit. That's a whole nother joker too.
See, it's a lot of little things. It's the morning breath test to me.
Woo!
It's the morning breath, the
Yeah.
morning hair,
Yeah.
that first BM. All those tell me some things. I'm like, oh, okay, all right.
Yeah. The spray don't help nothing, okay? I'm just saying. And
We
I
just
just
don't be
really,
thinking,
yeah.
like I'd
I
be
be
like,
wondering about stuff like that all the time.
I know y'all do too. I know listeners is like, what in the world? We giving y'all perspective,
Well,
yo.
we just perspective, literally. I had no idea. I always wonder, like
No,
do women
we
just hold it forever and like go to the bathroom? Because like,
we
what if I got base? Like, how does this work? Like, how? Because I'm actually a gassy person, so it's like, how does this work?
yo,
How does this
okay.
work?
Just so y'all know, that's gonna be a good future episode. So you're gonna have to
Yeah,
keep listening to
you gave me a
hear.
little intro to that.
That's a preview,
Yeah.
but no, I think the thing where I'm at now, like I got some people, I got people I know, and some of them are like, yo, I'm going at my dream. And like I remember
Yeah.
Joe Budden was like, I don't take you serious until you quit your job and figure it out.
Mm.
And I'm like,
That
okay,
figure it out is hard though too. Especially when you have so many things going on. But could figure it out be also getting a job? Because he said quitting your job figure like I think it's different privileges to that figuring out too. Cause like Joe Budden to say it's like, well, yeah, you're also getting a monthly check for your music. So yeah, you
yeah.
could figure it out. Even if you're trying to figure it out, you have something coming in. I'm
And
starting from ground zero.
and see, that was the point you made that I thought about the Capitol. Like I remember when Dame Dash got into it, on the Breakfast Club,
Mm-hmm.
and he was like, my son's not gonna call another man boss. And he was
Yeah.
like, but where are you getting the money from? Where did you get the
Right.
capital? Like, how do you get
Right.
capital? And a lot of times people are like, yo, go after your dream. But it's like,
Yeah.
with what money? How do you
Right.
get
That's the
money?
part.
You still have to do something for
That's the
money.
part.
And
I
if you,
applaud. Yeah, I'm sorry. I applaud Dame because I literally don't know where he's getting money from, and I don't count nobody's pockets.
Me
But
neither.
for someone to always be like, "Oh, he has no net worth," he has no net worth. I'm like, he's getting money from somewhere.
He
Like he
is.
announces a new business almost every other day or every other week to me.
Hey, side note, I did actually subscribe to his network and was looking at
How
a
you like
couple of
it?
his videos. It was cool.
Nice.
I was rocking with the fact that he had like some health segments because he's
Yeah.
diabetic, so he had health segments with his
Oh,
wife, and he,
he's early on with that though too.
yeah,
That
he is.
idea, yeah, he's way early on with that. He was talking about that what we were on like 4 or 5 years ago now.
Man, I'll be honest.
Yeah, he's
I
ahead of himself.
I would have really, I would have really liked for him and Jay to keep working, but
Man.
he wanted Jay to be more indie. That's a topic
Mm,
for another day. Topic for
yeah,
another day. We're
might
gonna
have
leave
to
it
be
alone.
offline with
Yeah,
that,
yeah. I said
buddy.
topic for another day. Back to what we were saying. So it's like that perpetual fight. Like we were telling you before we got online. Kanye was like, "Man, I used to work at the Gap. Now I'm doing business with the Gap." I'm like, every creator's
Mm,
dream is like to I quit the 9 to 5 grind and I get paid for it. But I guess the question is, do you have to quit your like I remember on the other side,
yeah.
Consequence had an album, Don't Quit Your Day Job. And
Hmm.
Consequence wrote for Kanye. He's wrote for all these people he wrote with Tribe Called Quest. He's
Hmm.
never gotten that level of fame as Kanye. And his first album
Ooh,
was
that's a
Don't Quit Your Day
perspective.
Job. You know what I'm
That's a
saying?
perspective on when you say, um, if you were to quit it, you could really go after your dreams. Like I see both sides of it because it's like you're wanting to be somewhat stable to pay for your bills, but also even your job can get in the hold of it. Because when I was working at the job I didn't want to work, I was barely having time to write because I didn't have inspiration. I was hating
Mm-hmm.
my job and coming home and using that time as hours just to get my mental right from it, you know? So that's a thing too.
No, I agree.
But then
And
it's
it's
like if you go for your dreams, are you going to be able to focus on that too because you have bills due? So it's like where's the
man.
balance?
And like that was the fight. Like for me personally, that was the fight. Like I graduated in 2012 and I started working, I think at Aldi's like around 13 or 14. I didn't have any books out then
Yeah,
because I was literally spending all my energy to survive. And then I
absolutely.
was in a situation back with someone then, and I was trying to provide for me and them. And I didn't
And that's
have
a lot.
anything to
Yeah.
write about. You know what I'm saying? I had pain. I just was not in a place to.
Man, listen.
You got to get you have to get some sort of
Yeah.
stability.
Yeah.
And I remember like when I hear Logic talk, sometimes he'd be like, you can't give up on your dream for, tuition or, for a
Yeah.
pension. And I'm like, I feel you, bro. But it's like, you're not in the basement no more though. You're rich as hell saying this. Like,
Exactly. It's easy for you to say that in your penthouse place now. It's I see it all the time. Like I just feel like when they were on the couch, as I would say for me now, they were feeling the same. Probably questioning it. There's been a lot of artists who's wanting to quit or question everything. So many. So many.
why
But they
don't we
kept
focus
going.
on the artists who like J. Cole was a telemarketer and he had like other hustles? Why don't we ever tell the stories of all the entertainers?
Don't go with the image, bro.
That's wild, yo.
The image is I was self-made, money somehow grew out my butt, and I was able to pay for stuff. And here we are.
Like,
Oh, and I didn't get any handouts. I did it on my own.
oh
Every
my
little
god,
thing I
oh my
marketed, I
god,
recorded, I
and it
directed,
was a
everything on
hit.
my own. And it was a hit. Everything was a hit.
Or you'll
Oh,
hear
oh,
like,
from the beginning, my writing was on point. Nothing was wrong. And that's the other thing people don't talk about too. Any artistry that you're doing, it's a process. Your first painting might not be hitting. Your first writing might not be hitting. Your first poetry, your first audio, whatever you do might not be hitting. Our first episode of this might not be hitting, but it
no,
all takes time, you know?
it
So
does.
we also don't talk about we don't talk about the scam with college and the
Please
scam with
get there,
college of like,
get there.
y'all tell me get good grades, do what I need to do.
For what?
Let's just say I get mediocre grades. I still get in college.
Yep.
Cool. Got college, doing my classes, doing what I need to do. Graduate. Oh, during the whole time of college, you're thinking like, oh yeah, get with your advisor for jobs and oh, do your internships and stuff. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Even if I do that, guess what? Might not be a job ready
Yep.
for me.
We
And they
we
don't
got
tell
out.
you that. They market it as like, you get your good grades, you go to class, kids, you'll be making six figures when you get out. And it's a scam as soon as you graduate. You're like,
I'm in the
wait, what?
hole. I'm in the
Yeah.
hole. And
Yeah.
like I know with us, we graduated after the recession and the
Yeah.
economy was
Ooh.
recovering,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
jobs still weren't there like that.
No.
And like you
It's
went
very
in
hard.
media, it was really
Mm-hmm.
hard to break through,
Yeah.
you
I
know.
really want to put media on blast, but I'm not. If you're working in local markets, you're getting paid for your perks more so than your money. And just, I
Mm,
guess what I'm saying is, don't look to make more than $20 an hour. Don't look to make more than maybe $12 an hour. And I'm not gonna go lower than that because, yeah, you do your own research and just be mindful of what you're getting into. Is it worth the burnout and the mental health
man.
for that?
See, that's a combo that ties into that creative struggle too, or the 9 to 5s hustle. It's like
Mm-hmm.
you can get them. Like there's some people who be like, I don't have time to worry about my dreams. I'm getting the money. And this is a combo I've had with people I
See,
know. But like the creative, like let's put this. I just want to say this. When we say creative, that doesn't mean that
mm-hmm.
you have to draw, paint,
Yeah.
write. That
It's
means how
so
you
many ways of
express
creativity.
yourself.
Yeah, so many ways of creativity. You could be cooking, that's creative. Like, it's so many ways.
And if you're not expressing yourself and you're putting all your
Mm-hmm.
energy in a job, you're losing.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're putting all your energy into your
Yeah.
creativity, but you're not earning a
Yeah.
living, you're losing too.
Yeah. It's
Maybe,
also
maybe.
like, too, do you take the risk of like, okay, if I do have to have a job, it's this job where I just do this, but I'm not putting my investment into this really. It's just to pay these bills for real and be very clear on when I'm not there, I'm doing my work. As I can't even think of her name. Please don't drag me, black people. But there's an author by the name of Octavia. I cannot think of her
Butler,
last name. Yes, and she would get up at 3 a.m. in the morning before work, right, and then go to her jobs and
Toni
became this,
Morrison too.
this best-selling author. That's what I'm saying. So it can happen. It's really on what you want to. But what I was going to say is, yeah, with the job thing, yeah, it just lost that quick. It's okay.
It's gonna come back. It's gonna come
It's
back
gonna
because
come back
it's
because
done that with
it
me.
was right there. I was like, ah, it's
I'm
okay.
gonna try to cycle it back to you. So
Yeah.
you said Octavia Butler, Toni
Hmm.
Morrison did that too. She used to get up at 4 when her kids were little
Yeah.
and still
It's
write.
really on if you want it or not.
It is.
Period.
And I think you made a good point that I tell people if you're doing one of those type of jobs where you don't have to exert a lot of
Yeah.
energy, you
Like
just
yeah.
I stock,
I'm just
I
here
push.
to work. I'm not here to kick it with y'all. I'm not here to do all that. I'm not here to invest in the company. I'm not here to do 20 years and retire. I'm here to literally get a check and go about my business. And it's going into your whatever artistry you're doing. That's fine.
Then I
But
salute
you
that.
also
Exactly.
have to get it's also really about mindfulness too. Like, why are you here? What are you doing here? And knowing when to shut it on and shut it off too, because you can get caught up in a job too of like doing more than you're supposed to. You're like, wait a minute.
And then another thing I think people got to understand too, when you're doing jobs or things that you really don't hate, you have to be very intentional about getting out of that cycle. You got to be like, I'm grinding
Yeah. Yep.
12 months, I'm
Yep.
gone. I'm stacking up
There it
this much
is.
money.
There it is. What you were saying. So when you said someone's like, oh, I don't have time for my creativity, I gotta get this money. I'm gonna tell you something right now. There was a time I was making some money and it was good. It was good money. And I was miserable
Mm,
as fuck.
yep.
So that whole I'm getting money, I'm getting money. Yeah, you get money. You might had a cute little car. You might had a cute little whatever it is that brings you happiness at the moment. But guess what? You're still going to be thinking about what you wanted to do, even when that money comes in.
Mm,
It's human nature.
it is. You
You're
still
not a
slave.
robot.
You're still
You're not a
enslaved.
robot. Yeah. Even if that money is good, you're still going to be thinking, man, I could be doing this and that. Oh, especially on social media, you're definitely going to be like, well, I'm making all this money, but I'm still thinking about my passions. And then that's the thing you really don't want, the shoulda, coulda, wouldas. That was one thing. I was like, okay, when I think about all the things I went through and the mistakes I made, it's like, I'm kind of glad I did because my shoulda, coulda, would have been way higher than that. I've been like, damn, I never went after that.
And see,
Damn, I never tried that.
that's how I look at it with your situation. You're
Yeah.
always going to be able to say, hey, I really put myself out there. I was
Ouch.
unafraid. Because it's people, you know what I'm saying? I know you like, oh my Lord, but it's
Woo!
people that be 80, like Gary Vee
Yeah.
be telling the truth. He be like, talk to any old person and you will find the
All
courage
of
to
them
do
said,
anything. They will be like, I
yep,
wish I would have did this. I should have went here. I should have
yep,
did this. I should have done this. I should have
yep,
skydived. I should have.
yep.
So I say that like I try to do stuff to where I can, if I one day lose the ability to, I can at least say, but I was out there though. You know, you hear all the
Yep.
old heads. I
You
was out
wasn't
there, boy.
outside?
I
Yep.
was
I was
outside.
outside.
Exactly.
I was outside. Yeah.
You know, and I like that's something. It's something I was like, what you were saying is a good point about being creative because I tell my fiance that when she cooks, that's like her expression.
Absolutely.
Like
Listen,
she likes
that's
to
a
express,
gift.
and it's a
Yes.
gift.
Doing hair, cutting hair, like it's so many ways. I
And
mean,
that's
framing glasses,
facts.
framing eyebrows. Like it's so many ways to be creative. It's not this like that's the whole definition too of creative. Like, oh, I'm just this artsy fartsy person in fairy tales, and it's like, no,
No,
that's not at all. You just want to express whatever is going on in your mind or ideas and thoughts,
to be
whatever that
honest,
looks like for you.
the people we used to have in class who the teachers didn't see the genius in, I was like, these are the
Woo!
creative people. Like, I'm just saying, like, the people who are able
Listen,
to make people laugh or draw
that's
things or
MF part.
that's it. I'm just saying. You know, I look back, I'm like,
Promise
dang,
you.
we had some very creative people. Like
Very.
they could say things a certain way. You'd be like, I like that. I want to bite that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna steal what
Mm-hmm.
you just said because it's just so
Mm-hmm.
creative. You know what I'm saying? And
And I'm happy to see them like still finding their way of doing it their way. I really appreciate good God. I
appreciate
appreciate people who really are just like they can, the odds are against them, but they just figure it out and find their way. Like
it.
I really admire that.
And see, I was gonna say that's an art form or creativity in itself. Like there are some people you could take every single thing from them and they're gonna
Hmm.
still be okay. And I can't say that
Yeah.
for me. I cannot say that for me.
I disagree. I think somebody could literally steal your idea, Sam, and you would be good because it ain't your idea.
Well, with
It
the
ain't your swag. It ain't your way.
well with the ideas, yeah, but okay, yeah, you can say that with the ideas, but
Yeah.
I mean like there are some people it's like if you take all the clothes from them, they're gonna create some clothes and like that's low key fire how
Yeah.
you did that though. How did you
Yeah.
arrange that? Like
Very true.
you know, and it's the same with you. It's certain things you're gonna post, and I can hear your voice when you say it. I'm like, dang, this is something Bree
That's
would say.
funny. That is
This is
so
something Bree would
funny.
say. You
That's
know,
so funny. Yeah, I used to get really like conscious about like, oh, I want to, share this and that, and then afraid that someone might be inspired, which I really dislike. But it's like if people are inspired by your stuff, that's them. Because at the end of the day, here's what happens with inspiration. When you're inspired, notice I'm doing air quotes because a lot of y'all use inspired as a way to copy for the
y'all
free and
stealing.
not pay or give credit to the person,
Ding ding
which
ding.
is stealing and trash. Very trash. That's not creative. That's trash. Don't do that.
Stealing.
um they you can't trip because for example, if someone's waiting on Sam to drop the next heat, they're gonna be always waiting on you. They're gonna see you cooking up something, right? And then they're gonna say, oh, I'm gonna cook it just like Sam.
You can't cook it
Okay.
like me
But then when
though.
you make your next entree, they gotta wait on you with the
That's it.
recipe
That's it.
every
Single
single
time.
time, and it always shows. So it's like, you know what, y'all want to be inspired. What you're not gonna do is not give credit. That's what we're
Man.
not going to do.
And
Yeah.
see that not giving credit ties into a lot of things.
I see it so much on the internet, and it's just
We
so
saw a lot of people
bonkers to
just
me. Of
torpedo
like,
their career
I've
doing
seen
that.
people literally just take all this credit that they never did. But
You
again,
know,
even with them, they're gonna have reality of where like as they keep stealing and stealing and stealing, you're not gonna come up with your next thing. You're gonna continue to steal.
you know what's funny is how we start finding out about how some of our favorite artists
Yeah.
and other
Yeah.
people just
Yeah.
bit from other people. Like
Yeah.
it's so much biting. I didn't realize biting was that flagrant. Like when I was
Yeah.
hearing rappers in the '90s, like, oh, they used to take my lingo, I took their
Yeah.
lingo,
I had
and
no
I made
idea
it
either.
seem. I'm like, wow. Or
Yeah.
you start
It was
seeing
a
album
thing.
covers. I'm like, oh, so y'all stole album covers. Y'all
Yep.
stole people's produce. Like, I'm not gonna say names, but
Mm-hmm.
I remember when one thing came out, and then all of the music for a little bit kind of
Oh
kept resembling. I was like,
yeah. Wow. That's a
y'all
good
done
point.
took the sound. Like,
Yeah.
we ain't never been to DC. We
Oh, that
don't
is
we don't
true.
make go go music. Like now everybody got a go go influence beat. Oh,
That's
y'all
how I
be
feel about
biting.
Migos sound because man, if I I like Migos, but man, if we could just stop the cadence, like too many rappers use it to where it's like, do y'all want to sound like a doppelganger or y'all want to be your own artist?
And see,
It's cringe.
it reminded me of something like Robert Greene said. He was talking about like the three stages of life or something, like according to the Buddhist. And
Mm-hmm.
like one of the stages he said we're in like now, he was just like it's a stage where the first stage is like creation, everybody creating new stuff. And then he said,
Mm-hmm.
then we got into this current stage where everybody just replicates what they've seen before, like nothing new.
Yep.
I just take this, and I'm gonna just put a new face
Yep.
on it. And
That's
he's
all
like,
it is on the internet now. Just
that's all it
replication.
is. Like I
And
look
that's
at
why when you see somebody that stands out, I'm like literally giving them all the praise because
you
there's
have
still
to,
ways to stand out and still ways to innovate. It's just depending on, are you going to be the one to take the less route, or are you going to be the one to be like, well, I see everybody else taking backgrounds and adding their Twitter to the picture and then
mm.
putting the quote up, so maybe I should do it too.
And see, another thing I think people don't get, it takes time to learn what's creative to you. What is your
Yeah.
personal style? Like that's the hardest thing
Yeah.
for me sometimes.
Your
Like I create.
personal style.
Bree is not playing with this personal.
Personal.
And you not playing with this.
Personal. Not what you saw somebody do and put your own fuego on it and call it personal. Personal.
That's for real. That's for real.
God, it's so annoying.
As y'all can see, Bree's annoyed by that.
Sorry. I'm
No,
just
no,
really
it's all
passionate
good.
and I love art and I really root for the underdogs and I just really admire creatives who like stand out. Like they got something where I'm like, yo, I ain't never heard nothing like this. Like Jada Gems, that idea, haven't heard of it. Like I just really
I appreciate
appreciate
that.
artists who just have things that's like you haven't heard of, it hasn't been done, or it's innovation, or even if it is an old idea, they take it and make it into their own. I just appreciate it because it just makes me excited. Like, oh, creativity still exists. Oh my god, because it's just so watered down. I feel like so many people care more about the dollar signs to the creativity besides of eating instead of just creating.
No,
You
I
know,
agree with that. And I think,
yeah.
I guess to sum up what you were saying, like this is how I feel about it. I'm okay with you taking an idea that's been used and putting your own spin on it because people do
Mhm.
that.
That
But
happens,
it
but your
happens.
spin, don't do the same the same ideas, same people, or just switch the people around, but they're gonna remind you of the same thing and then say, this is such and such. It's like, no, you
No,
didn't
it's
put
not.
your spin on it. You did not put your spin on it. You
No,
put
I
your
agree.
name on the credits, but you didn't put your spin on it.
Hey, ain't nobody short on putting their name on it.
Man, listen.
No, I get it, man. And
Yeah.
I think we basically kind of have said the same perspective. We've had similar
Mm-hmm.
points on it. Like I don't think you should quit your day job per se, but if
Mm-hmm.
your day job is preventing you, but your day job shouldn't be preventing you from going after your own expression. Now, some people, their
Right.
creativity is their job. Like at their job,
Yeah,
they
they're happy
creatively
with that.
express themselves and they're happy
Absolutely.
with that.
That's a
But
great point too.
yeah,
I'm glad you mentioned that. Okay, so what would you do
if if I
if you
was
had
one
the
of,
choice? Yeah.
if it was up to me to keep my day job or quit it,
Mhm.
if it was up to me, what I'm doing now, what I'm doing now, I'm great at,
Mhm.
and I like it, but
Mhm.
I would quit my day job and just go full speed at it. But where I'm at
Yeah.
is, other than the obvious comfort, I also feel like my day job might personally give me the inspiration to write what might be able to help me quit
Absolutely.
it. And I don't, I
Absolutely.
feel like you have to. My dad always told me you gotta go with the flow. If the flow is moving and you're
Oh,
in a
that
good
flow is
area,
real.
don't jump out of it and mess the
Yeah.
flow up. And if you know you're having success in the area, you go with the flow.
Yeah.
But I'm also cautious to not, take time away from what I like too, though.
I love that you said flow because it makes me think about every time that I was out of flow of things, that's when I was just overthinking in my head and everything went to complete shit. But it
Mm.
was when I was just going with flow, everything was just like, hey, we're here right now. This is temporary. Let's not focus on what it is and just put our head down and work, you know? I think for me, I would keep a 9 to 5. I think
Mm.
because, again, just life's journey, being now unemployed for almost 9 months. It's like life feels like it's starting over again, and that's okay. So it's like I would probably am going to get a 9 to 5 night job or day job and figure it out.
And I
Yeah.
still think even with you getting a 9 to 5, you're still gonna go at your dream and your
Yeah, absolutely.
passion.
It's gonna motivate me for sure. I feel like this time it's gonna be different. But I had to. I'm just one of those. When I think about it, I guess I'm just like a little risk taker. But that risk taking also got some things where it was like,
It left you with some
be
gems though. It did,
absolutely.
you
I
know,
absolutely did stuff that I'm like, okay, yeah, no, we're
like
not doing that
when
this
we
time.
talk offline and you just telling me
Yeah,
some of the experience, I was like,
man, listen,
yo,
I could
like
tell you some stuff.
that's big.
That's how I also know there is a higher power, which mine is God. Like,
Yes, Lord.
because some things I never thought I'd get out, he got me out of it. I didn't even think I would get unemployment, and I've been unemployed for 9 months getting money for it. So
God is good.
I can't trip. God is
God is
good.
good.
So I gotta go get my 9 to 5. Guess what? I gotta get my 9 to 5, but
That's
that's
all good.
okay.
That's all good. Now, to the people that are listening to this, this is our perspective. We're not
Yeah.
giving you professional advice on what to do,
Nope.
but it is in our opinion. Don't quit
Mm-hmm.
your day job. Keep
Nope.
hustling. Keep hustling at your job, and when it's time for you to
Yep.
make that move, you'll know. But I've been seeing a lot of. I'm gonna sum it up with this last thing. That Steve Harvey the jump video almost got me out there. Now I had to watch it and be like, nah,
Yeah,
I ain't
no,
finna
he's
get it like you, bro.
yeah. Because he also, yeah, like some of his stories, staying in the Apollo for a couple of days until his first, gig. Even that, waiting on that call and having literally
He was
no
staying in
money. Like the no money
YMCA's
story.
and
Yeah, the no money stories are scary. It's scary to sleep. And then even like shout out to the friends who let you sleep on the couch, but even that, like I'm sure you feel like you're overstaying your welcome. Like that
yes.
puts them in a bind. So like it's all about what you're willing to do. And then also having the faith that me doing this, it's going to work out because that mind is a thing, people's opinions, the
Mm-hmm.
projection is a thing. You could be like, oh, I'm going to pursue this rap career. And someone's like, "Are you rapping? Why are you doing that?" Or, oh man, why am I doing this? Or now you find yourself questioning it when it doesn't go the way you want it to go. Because that's the other truth. What we want, I truly believe will happen for us, but it's just not going to go the way that we saw it
Oh, it's
happen.
not.
It's
It's
not.
never gonna go the way we
But
think it
that
is.
also makes the story even more beautiful because you couldn't tell it. Only God could
Exactly.
tell it for you. But you could be the one to tell how it happened, like Steve Harvey.
No, and
Yeah.
and I ain't gonna go into the story, but I remember that there was an artist who basically torpedoed his career this year, but he had a very good story about that. He literally destroyed his career this year, and made himself public enemy number one to the sisters. But his
Yeah.
story about how he got out of his situation and became in the
No, that's
music,
amazing how
it
he
was
got out
like
of his
wow,
label because he's independent, right?
yeah. But
Yeah,
it's
that's
just
that's amazing how he got a situation.
mm.
Side note, I mean, I know a lot of people play that this person is a villain, but they still support him behind closed
Oh,
doors.
he's
But that's
got plenty of
that's
sales.
a whole another story for another time. Yeah, that's not adding up.
He's got plenty of sales. Like
A lot of it's a lot of
I don't look at his
performative,
art, but I'm
a lot
like,
of performative action for me. A lot of people performing. Ain't
okay,
adding up. The sales ain't adding up, bro.
okay, bro. Topic for the
Like
other
you know how
day.
they say, if you want to support them, just say
Just
that.
say you
Just
do.
say that.
Just say you
Just
do.
say it.
Not too
Stand on
loud.
it. Stand on it.
Oh Lord. Hey, y'all, that's a topic for another day.
Yeah.
But no, I appreciate you guys rocking with us.
Yes,
Um,
episode 2 in the bag.
that's it.
Let
That's
us
it.
know in the comments, or yeah, just let us know. Hit us up. What would you do? Would you stay at a 9 to 5, or would you quit your 9 to 5 to go after your dreams?
Oh yeah, I
Hit
can't
us
wait to hear
up.
these comments. I can't wait to hear these comments.
Yeah.
Make sure you guys rate, share, review, like, comment, all those good things.
Yeah.
With that being said, though, peace.